Force on Force features the largest and strongest outdoor military organization in the country. These are the men and women who make it possible to enjoy the freedom to hunt and fish. It is with great pride that we bring you Force on Force podcast, coming to you from the Force on Force Talk.
Hey, welcome to the Force on Force podcast. I'm your host, Shawn Dalrymple. We're coming to you on the road here at the Indianapolis Boat Travel and RV Show. As you can tell, we got a crew with us. There's already some guys on the mic kind of chiming in. I love when we get to do these shows from the Force on Force Mobile Talk and Tactical Operations Center. This is really special because we're at the Airbnb. We got 3 guys from the pro staff on the bass side with us tonight. We got Mike Schnupp.
What's up?
KB.
Hello.
And we got Kevin Jones. Now,
we got Rory cooking.
We got Rory cooking.
We got
Rory.
Yeah, we got our sexy chef, Roy Lane, cooking for us.
Not every day you get somebody cooking without a shirt on.
I know, right?
It's not that type of show.
So this is going to be more of a fun part. We're going to talk about just what get these guys, do a lot of talking, some fun stuff. But part of we want to kind of peel the onion back and open it up, what it's like being on the road at these shows and just kind of the fun stuff that we do and kind of introduce. We could do a little bit of the classic with this last year. We had some guys on here and talk about it. I mean, it's been a crazy year for us so far. We've been on the road. I've had some industry type events with Archery Trade Association show, SHOT Show, and then we had the same weekend I'm a SHOT Show. KB, you were in
Clarksville, Tennessee.
And Mike was there. You were there. How was that show, guys?
It was a pretty good show.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Clarksville is one of our high volume shows, keeps us on our toes. We got the fish tank. And this year, Sergeant Major Tagger, he brought in some 2 to 5 pound catfish for the kids. So those are always a handful when you're dealing with those. You know, the kids grabbing and hooking and getting all excited.
It's a small venue, but it gets packed.
The volume of
the volume of people that come through, and I mean,
there's no break.
No.
It's a show that I hate that when it falls because I'm at SHOT Show. Here's why. Because, for one, it's a home in the 101st Airborne Division, Clarksville, Tennessee. But it's also, my boys are there. And having spent so much time in Clarksville, especially the last 2 years, and I did a lot of announcing football games on Friday nights at Clarksville High School.
But that was exciting.
It was, man. Funny thing is, you go from what we do shooting on TV, pre-recorded stuff, to editing, post-editing type stuff. It's a different deal when you got to do live TV. What you say,
and then your own kids out there. And you're
yeah. I only had a couple of dad moments, but I always like to go back and support that show. It just sometimes my schedule does not work out with everything we did.
Yeah, see, I was smart. I always ran a scoreboard with my kids because that way I couldn't yell.
I end up coaching. I always get stuck no matter what.
I think I'd rather do the announcing than the coaching.
Oh, 100%.
Coaching 100%. Stint. But I love getting to do that and supporting everything what we do with Clarksville, Tennessee. One of the ways we're there supporting, military in the community is when we do that show. It's really cool to get back. And so I have such a strong connection. Spent 4 years of my time in the Army stationed and living in Clarksville, Tennessee. And then James, he made history at Clarksville High School. 118 years that school's been playing football. And he is the second person in the history of 118 years to have back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
That's pretty sweet.
And so that's he'll forever be, home at 101st. He can always say that he's done that. And so it's really kind of a cool deal.
He's built like a brick.
He is. He is built like that. And,
I ain't never gone out to a restaurant with a kid that just takes a butter biscuit from Texas Roadhouse and just smeared it all over his face while he's eating it and don't even care. Just grabs another one.
Yeah, so there's the story.
That's how my son is with wings.
Well,
he comes out and there's wing sauce on his cheeks. I'm like, bro, you're 13, fixing to be 14. You can't be doing that stuff. I don't care.
Well, and so the story. So here's the best part of that story. I forgot about that story. So KB and I were on diets at the time, right? And the diets were really good for KB. And I think how much you lost?
I lost 170 pounds.
Yeah, 170 pounds KB did. But I was in the second or third week of the diet, and we go to Texas Roadhouse to get our 1 meal a day that we're getting, that we're not eating.
And the rolls.
Yeah.
And you can't have the rolls.
Yeah,
and James is like, he's like,
Smashed like 2 baskets.
he's like, don't worry. James is like, don't worry, I'll make up for you guys.
And that
And me-
cinnamon butter.
And
Oh,
me
man.
and KB are like sitting there like can't have anything, and James over there like crushing these because he's trying to bulk up. This is before the start. This is sometimes it's his sophomore year, and he's trying to bulk up to get ready for his junior season. And I'm like, I forgot about that story. Like he was
that was
like
funny.
crushing that. That happened in Clarksville, so that's why I think those are the fun stories of being on the road with us. Like,
Oh, it's always fun.
Eh.
And we hound each other, give each other a hard time. It's just great.
did you go down there for that one, Kevin?
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah,
Yep.
Kevin. So like all three of these guys, I was at SHOT Show with Patrick and
The rough life.
oh man,
Yeah, the rough life. Yeah.
And
I'm in
we're-
Vegas. at
We're all
SHOT
out here
Show. You guys
working,
are
and
in
he's out in
Clarksville.
Vegas. Yeah.
You're grabbing cat.
You see who's doing all the work here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes I hate. I'm not a big fan of Las
I
Vegas.
mean, I came to this show and they made me unload the trailer by myself.
Oh, he was gonna say that. I know, right? Yeah, we had a good time with that whole deal in Clarksville, and come right out of Clarksville SHOT Show.
Well, we went straight from Clarksville to Force on Force.
That's what I was gonna say. We come straight out of that show and we go right into Force on Force. KB doesn't go. Kevin was supposed to be there, but he doesn't get to go because of some stuff. But me and Mike are there, and Roy drives like, I don't know, 16, 17 hours
Yes.
after he gets back to his house. Then he drove like 6 and 7, 8 hours, to get there. But
we went from Clarksville, and then Matt Hazel came down from Ohio, and I rode with him, and we went down, what was it, 11, 12 hours, whatever. And we just kept driving, and it was an interesting.
I did that last
trip.
year.
Yeah,
I did too. Yeah.
So Mike, let's hear we're gonna kind of hear we're not gonna tell like oh no, do we want to save that for like when we actually air the TV show, the story of
No, we can get it out there. Fine.
I mean like the woes of like
Why
how,
you turning red in the face?
well, I mean, so first of
It's
all,
hot in here. It's hot.
okay, first of all, Mike,
If you watched last year.
yeah, if you haven't watched last year, tell them what happened last year.
So last year, Matt and I, we were splitting my boat. And so every morning, we get to the ramp, and he'd go and put my plug in because I can't bend down and do it. So he'd put the plug in and everything. And he was going out that morning in a different boat. And so he was focused on getting all his tackle. And I think he was in your boat.
He was in my boat.
Yeah, he was in
last year,
KB's boat. And so I put the boat in the water, and I get it on the sand, and we walk up to the dock, do our thing, and we come back, and I'm like giving a little bit of gas. I'm like, man, it's tough to get off this sandbar.
Yeah.
And I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, maybe I just pulled up far, too far. So then we get, idle down the canal, and I think it was Tiger. Maybe that's who I was going against. I don't know. I think it was Tiger.
It was Tiger. It was Tiger. Yeah.
And so I'm going to get on plane, and Jared's got the drone above us.
Yeah.
And Matt was standing next to the Jared. And he's like, dude, I don't know what's going on with Mike's boat. It's not going on pad. It's not going on pad. And next thing you know, my phone rings, and it's Matt. And he's like, hey, dude, you put the plug in? I said, no. I said, I thought. He's like, no, remember I was like, dang it. So we come back, and I don't even know
whose trailer
trailer
we just
it was.
I know. I think you.
Yeah,
I think you backed your trailer.
I just grabbed the truck and backed the
I
trailer in
think
the
you
water.
I think you backed your truck and we put it on your trailer.
Yeah,
and
my boat's just, if you could imagine, it's teeter-totting on the trailer. And
I did FXR 21.
Yeah,
An 18-foot boat. We just shoved it on the trailer.
They get the plug in, and then we go off, and of course here we are a year later, and I'm still getting crap for it, rightfully so. but so then we get down to Florida, and on the drive there we stopped, get gas, all that fun stuff. And Matt's truck was hesitant to start a few times, and we're like, oh well, we'll get the battery checked or whatever. Maybe it's something, I don't know. So we get in late Sunday night. Monday morning we get up, get on the water. We make the run to Toho, and we get there and we're fishing for a little bit, come back down and get ready to go, fire the boat up and head back towards Kissimmee, and the boat doesn't start. And I'm like, oh my gosh. He had a jump box, so we jumped it.
right.
And he's like, what are we going to do? I was like, dude, just keep it running. let's go put it on the trailer and we'll get a battery.
Yeah.
So,
and we should caveat this with like, we run Dakota lithiums, but with the show, you can't put the show on a lithium battery. So you have just a regular wet cell battery that's what run. All our boats run on a regular wet cell cranking battery because when you run a show, that's what the manufacturer requirement is.
Yeah. And so we're like, all right, well, here's the thing. And if you've ever been down at Camp Mac, there's nothing there.
Right.
So 25 minutes into town at Lake Wells, we stop at O'Reilly's because, I mean, that's all we could find, you know, and we go in there and we get the battery changed, we changed it out in the parking lot in a couple minutes. And I was like, dude, while we're here, you might as well have them check your truck since it hasn't been running. And he's like, all right. So they check it and his battery's bad in his truck. And of course they don't have the battery and it's a Ford. So you have to put it in maintenance mode, take the battery out, put a new battery in and put it back in, take it out of maintenance mode. And you have to have the special computer to do it and everything, the reader. And so we go down the street to this place. Well, we were in the truck sitting there for an hour and a half because the guy put the battery in and couldn't figure out why the maintenance light was on and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, you have to do something before you put the battery in and forwards and I'm sitting there and the guy, he's frustrated and he don't want to hear anything I have to say because he's, in that mood, like
he's mad.
Yeah, he's mad. And I'm just
he already saw us in the boat ramp video. When you guys pulled out, you guys are already mad about having to go.
I can relate to that guy because when I got something going on, it's better I just walk away and let me do it by myself.
Yeah. And so he's going back and forth. And I'm just sitting here and I'm telling Matt, I'm like, dude, he's got to put it out of maintenance mode, do this. And then Matt's like, whoa. Tell him. I was like, dude, I tried. He don't want to hear it. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Hour and a half goes by. Finally, he realized what he did, puts it, out of maintenance mode, puts the battery in. We get back to the ramp, and then we go and look, we pulled off the water about 10:30. We didn't put back in the water till 2:30. So this is, you're talking, I don't do math in public, but about 4 hours. And so we get back on the water and we're like, well, let's just go to Kissimmee and check it out. Yeah. And so we get down there and I had a bite like on the second cast and there was people around us. So I went trying to show them what we were throwing. I mean, they were crappie fishing, but it's Florida. I mean, if somebody sees what you're doing, they'll come just beat that spot up. I mean,
you mean the bent rod pattern?
Yeah. That's famous in Alabama, I promise.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so we get out there, we fish for a couple of hours, come off the water. Next day. So we had a quarter tank of gas when we pulled out because we filled it. We put a gas in there when we left.
Now we should remind everybody at this point, these are two Air Force guys in the boat.
That explains
that we notoriously know they run out of gas a lot in a lot of very convenient places. Okay.
Hey, I mean,
you think guys that fly airplanes with gas in their vehicles?
They run out of places of gas like Spain, Hawaii, never in places like Afghanistan.
I'm trying to figure out where the problem is.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. So anyway, so we did quarter tank, right? So we put the boat in the next day and we have like a half a day of practice because we have, start the meetings and all this stuff. And we get out there and we idle out and we fish this little area out in front of this canal. And Matt looks down, he's like, dude, we ain't got no gas. I was like, what do you mean we ain't got no gas? And he's like, dude, it's showing empty. I was like, we had a quarter like literally yesterday. So
what do you
you could get gas. You could get gas at the ramp, right? Because they got their own pump.
Yeah, $7 a gallon.
Yeah, whatever. But guess what?
It's better driving 25 minutes back and 25.
No, we still did because guess what? The pump was down.
I know.
And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
That kind of sounds like Shawn coming to my house.
Yeah.
Gets off the interstate, drives to my house, looking for a gas station. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get gas, come back. And look, this is 2 days of nothing but just stupid, errors and drama. It's like, dude, just whatever. Let's just go out here and whatever happens. So we just started looking at new areas and whatever, and we didn't really find anything. And I'm not going to spoil the show, but this is okay to say. I think we'll see if Shawn kicks me or something.
I'll laugh.
But so we like I said on day one, we went up to Toho and locked up and I found this flat and they were coming to us. We caught 5 fish in a matter of like 10 casts and we're like, okay, that's it. We're leaving it. This spot is they're coming in. We're catching them as they're coming in.
I know he's going to say so. I'm good with this.
Yeah. So Matt and I, so last year we practiced together, and so we split the area on Santa Fe, and so anyway, so we're like, okay, if we have to split it again, who cares? Like, there's plenty of fish here. They're coming in. So we get to the production meeting, and I hear some rumors and people talking, and they're like, hey, yeah, you can't do any locking. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, hey, they said something you can't lock the tow. I was like, no. So I go in there, and they talk about the rules, and of course, the first thing Shawn says, there will be no locking. And I was like, what do you mean, dude? It's only like, and I'm somebody's saying it's too far. And I'm like, well, if you go all the way down to the end of Kissimmee, that's a 45-minute run. I'm going like 35 minutes tops. And like, no, it has to do with camera guys who get stuck. I totally understand it. But it was the most frustrating thing in the world because everything we had going on, and then the fish that you're on, you're told you can't fish for. So yeah, it was a whirlwind. I mean, we did what we had to do, make the adjustments, but man, those were like the most brutal 3 days I think I've had in a long time.
I don't know. Santa Fe was pretty brutal last year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to tell her it's going to be a good TV show. Like, this is going to be one of our better force-on-forces that we've ever had.
I think so. I had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun.
A lot of pain.
A lot of pain. And I didn't feel any pain from my position whatsoever. I mean,
oh, man.
I mean, wish, Kevin, you'd have been part of it. I know you. It was a good time. I mean, we had
to make it next year.
Yeah, it was a great. I mean, Camp Mac did an awesome job.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, Camp Mac, I mean, they, like, I fished one on Lake Fork. I fished one on, where else did I fish? Bastrop.
Yeah.
Toledo Bend.
Yeah.
And Santa Fe. And Toledo Bend, I mean, it's nice. The cabins were right there, but Lake Fork, I mean, everything was laid out for, like, we didn't have to do anything. We show up, we have our rooms, they're waiting on us. The ramp is just right around the corner, so it's not like you have to sit there and wait in line. We're there early enough, and I mean they got their little store there, and I mean it was really cool because we got there and I was talking to the lady, and she's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" I was like, "Oh, we're here to film that show." She's like, "Oh, okay," and she was asking about it. Well, then the next 3-4 days, you walked in, and on the TV was our show every single time.
Yeah,
and it was really cool. I mean, she was super sweet. I mean, this was 4th time fishing it.
Yeah.
4th, 5th, 4th, I don't know. 4th time maybe. Anyways. And I think this is the most that I enjoyed, minus the Toho thing. Enjoyed.
He did it on purpose, right? He knew where you guys were fishing, and he goes, we're not
there was a real rhyme and reason. Yeah. I mean, I
understand the camera guys. Having a film.
We were more worried about, like, the odds of it happening. If a lock breaks and we can't get a camera guy back in, that's a problem because with the way we filmed the show, that was the main concern. I've seen it happen in bigger tournaments, and it does happen, but the odds of it happening. But we had to plan for that, and that was the only reason for it. It wasn't a timing thing because he's right. I mean, you could run to one end; he's going to take you about
same time, shorter.
But it's the lock situation where I can't get the camera guy back down.
You have no control over.
I totally understand. I fished Barkley in Kentucky and lock into the rivers or lock out of the rivers to get into Barkley, and there you got the barge traffic. So you may be 2 hours, 3 hours waiting on a lock time.
And so that becomes a whole issue of it. So that's just a problem with what we had, but it's something we had kind of thrown into it.
Yeah, we had some different guys fishing. Yeah. And speaking of different guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Kevin's quiet over here. He's just taking as a new. I mean, Kevin is our most newest. Newest pro. Yeah. And the newest pro staff member out there.
Yeah, I think November, October.
Yeah, so and you've been on the.
It's close between him and Danny.
And Trilio.
Yeah, so I think you've been a task force member for a long time.
Yeah, I think 4 years.
Hey, so so really cool story. Last year when Roy decided to take like a 4-month break.
Roy, them are a little raw, buddy.
So last year Roy decided he was going to take off a little bit, and he left us to hang for this very show right here.
Yeah, he did.
I was trying to figure out how I was going to have to go get the trailer all the way in Texas. And you happened to give me a call. What happened when you gave me a call? I
was on my way to Texas.
Yeah. Tell us what happened with that whole deal.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
like the thing, like it was kind of like the stars line up and how much, like all the stuff that you went through to bring that trailer back to us.
Yeah, I don't even remember why I called. Yeah, I was picking up Lawrence's at first.
Yeah, you were gonna pick it.
Stuff, and then found out I was going to Texas, so it turned into getting the trailer, which turned into a whole fiasco. Stopped to go to the bathroom, and blood starts coming out when I go to the bathroom, and end up going to the hospital for the ER for a little bit, and end up getting to Rory's house.
Welcome to Pro Staff.
Yeah.
See what they do to you?
Yeah.
Energy drinks and
Yeah, but he did get the trailer. He brought it all the way back out here for us. And he picked up some graphs and and the only reason like we got the trailer here for Indiana last year was because Kevin brought it all the way from Texas. Roy's over there, taking a 6 months vacation on us, and
he got to do
breaking toilets with his head and stuff.
Yeah, we were like going out there and just.
He got to do the sleeping for me. I was missing out.
That's one thing about Shawn is you just never know, because here I'm all packed up in my boat, ready for a tournament, like the next day or 2 days later, and Shawn goes, "Hey man, I need your boat for Oklahoma for Bassmaster Classic." I'm like, "Dude, I got a tournament. Let me see what I can do." So I called the other guy I was fishing with, so I had to give up my nice Skeeter FXR 21, gonna be on big water, and go fishing some little aluminum Ranger, and I wasn't happy, but for Army bass anglers, I gave my boat up.
But the cool thing about that story is that
so we sent it out there for one of our sponsors, Motormate.
Yeah.
We actually got them locked down on a contract. They put the Motormate on my boat, got our boat in the show, in the building, so everybody got to see. A lot of people looking at my boat, and man, that's nice. It's American flag wrap. And
how many people can say they had their boat in the Bassmaster Classic?
Right. It was a good thing. There was no way I wasn't sending my boat, even if I had to go fishing in a John boat. That's just what you do. You help your brothers out.
And so I think that's what's cool, man.
It was in the Motormate booth.
Yeah,
I remember that because Steve was getting yelled at because he had the boat like blocking everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I don't know where Motormate is."
We're trying to figure out.
So I got up before work, drove 2.5 hours to meet Steve to pick my boat up before I went to work, so he could take it to Oklahoma for the show.
And I brought it back to you.
You brought it back
after the Classic.
And Shawn decided to come to my house and not get gas first. And I kind of live out in the middle of nowhere, so he was sweating a little bit when he got to my house because he was running on fumes.
Hey, you got.
Wait, so he was just talking trash about the airport?
No.
Huh?
Hey, wait.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd never been out there before, so I just assumed I just assumed there's like a gas station somewhere, like anywhere near his house. No.
You're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but even in Alabama, we're in the middle of nowhere. There's
in Alabama, there's a pawn shop and a dollar store in every corner
and a gas station. Right? That's not the case in Indiana. I'm just going to tell you.
The closest one's about 10 miles.
I mean, you ever seen those crew chiefs in a NASCAR race doing a few mileage calculations? That was me trying to figure out if I was going to have enough gas to get back to the gas station when I realized what was going on, right? And I'm trying to calculate the difference between pulling a boat and not pulling a boat, whether I'm going to have enough fuel mileage to get back to it. Yes, that's me.
And the bad part, if you'd have called me, there was probably 10 gallons of diesel fuel sitting in the barn.
I'm like telling you what, man. I'm like, there is nothing out here at all. Like, I'm thinking, I'm like, just a thought process. You'll find something. You'll run into no. And I thought people make fun of Alabama being in the middle of nowhere. Oh my!
We make fun of Alabama because you're all related.
Hey, look.
First cousins,
and their teeth count is a little lower.
Hey, all I know it's not Arkansas.
Well, they got some good hunting out there, though.
Yeah, I always heard. The joke is the previous producer Carlton Wing and he used to tell us. He said, how the toothbrush was invented in Arkansas because it was invented anywhere else they called it the teeth brush. That's for you, Carlton. Hey, Carlton's a state representative in Arkansas now. So that's what he used to say. He said, how it was invented in Arkansas. I mean, how it was invented in Arkansas. Anywhere else they called it the teeth brush.
That's hilarious.
So yeah.
Oh man.
But we're here in Oklahoma. Not Oklahoma. We're going to Oklahoma next after this, but we're in Indianapolis. See how my brain.
What's this we stuff? You French? I ain't going to Oklahoma.
That's the opposite direction.
Well, I'm going to. Me and Roy are going to Oklahoma. The organization's going to Oklahoma as part of getting ready for our backwoods shows. So a lot of stuff going on with that. But as we're here in Indianapolis for this show, it's a show that we started the 3 years ago. What's really cool, I think, about this.
Hey, SB, I could use another one.
Yeah. While we're at it here, but what's really cool really the discussion about this is it's kind of a historic show because we started the show 3 years ago. But
before, right? Didn't you guys come in 2020?
No.
Here, this is
because it was early.
Yeah, the first year we did this was in 23.
Yeah.
And so
that was my first year as pro.
Yeah. So here's what's really cool about this show. Tells you how long you've been around, man. Yeah, you're one of the old guys, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty old.
I'm watching Roy. I'm not paying any attention. Just remember, you got to sleep next to me.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Have some
Better watch after you bring it over here.
So what's really cool about this show, and I think it's
free flavor.
I think with this is it's about, and the real I say because it's cool having you here. This is the first show Archer ever came to.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
When we ever started traveling. So we, when I, part of the training, one of the first things they do with service dogs is they start socializing. And so we start, you got to get them out. And I'd done that a lot of deals. And it just was a situation where we were going to have to take them and I was going to have to take him and I had him with us. And so the last day of the show that we actually took him and made him part of the expo, and so that's why he's traveled with us every since then. And Roy likes to remind us that that's when he ate his hearing aid too. I just want to know what you told the VA, but I mean, the VA, he was like, I don't know how that I don't know how they got broke. These kind of like teeth marks in here.
I dropped it.
Yeah.
What, on rocks?
But what's really reason I say that, Mike, is because you have Cooper.
Yeah.
So
laying right here next to me.
Right here, buddy.
So we have really Cooper's, which is Mike's service dog here. And so he's a pretty special part of your life, isn't he?
Yeah. Next month will be a year that I had him. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I don't want to deal with the emotions, but no, but I mean, he's been great.
I'll give you a hug, buddy.
No, I mean, he's life changing for sure. And, things he does and things he helps me with and not only just like the physical stuff, but like mental stuff and confidence things. And, cause I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I'm 43 years old and people say I don't look that old, whatever, but
they're lying to you.
Yeah. Well, they told you were good looking too. So I don't know.
They don't lie to me.
But anyways, people don't, I mean, like I said, they look at me and I mean, I limp sometimes, if I'm hurting, whatever, but they look and they're just like, oh, this dude's normal. Like, what's he need a dog for? What's this?
Even yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had a dude come up and say,
you just put a vest on that dog.
Yeah, just put a vest on that dog.
Yeah, and I showed him his certification. I was telling him the whole process, and he's like, "Oh no, come on, man." I'm like, "No, he's legit. I mean, there's a reason why he's sitting here and not doing anything and focusing on me."
And that poor guy's wife was embarrassed as all could be.
I mean, it is what it is, right? He was a little tipsy, and but the thing is, when you have your dog in public, obviously people are going to look at you a little bit different, but at the same time, he deflects a lot of it, right? I mean, he's a great dog. I mean, he's a good looking dude, and so it kind of deflects the attention off of me and goes to him.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like it helps. Gosh, I keep hitting this microphone. I'm sorry.
Air Force.
But it is a good deal with the dog.
It is. This guy's talking over here. He's from the Marines. There's not even a Marine division, but it's cool.
But I mean, it is. We were talking about it today. Like I thought it was right. We were talking about really cool because it's funny because we got Archer and Cooper in the house. And so when they're back here, they're just dogs.
Yeah.
And we watch them play. And then we were talking about like how cool we talk about the amount of time that's in those two dogs and just in general, because we laugh, but because of the joke, what it was said to you yesterday, because they were playing this morning and then we put their vests on and we go to the show. And then they sit right next to each other.
And they don't even they're not even there.
They don't acknowledge
They don't even acknowledge each other. And you're like, okay, those are two dogs that understand their
role.
Yeah, their role, their task and purpose. They're a lot of like what we did while we were in the military. And it's like that really is.
Yeah. But the great thing is being at these shows is I'm having some issues right now, personal issues, my PTSD. Well, having these two guys here, I mean, Archer's been sitting on my foot. Just come over and sit on me and I'll pet him, makes me feel better. Because I miss my dogs. I got 5 dogs in the house at home, so it
I had that a few times today.
Yeah.
He can tell because when people say stuff like that to Mike, I'm having some anger issues with mine right now. And Archer comes over and sits on my foot.
That's why I know I can always feel because Archer starts pulling for me and I know he's going to one of you guys. And
and he does.
I always try to like let him go because I know he's coming to to sit on you guys. And so like, it's funny. Roy says it all the time. He's my service dog, but he's very good at like detecting with the other
I hadn't seen Archer for probably 6-7 months.
Yeah.
And he ran up to me, peed on the floor when he saw me, and so, he just knows us all.
Yeah, he knows us. He's happy to see it. But
he was showing his masculinity towards you. That's all it was. I mean,
but the dogs are like a special part of like, I don't think for me, I didn't really know. And I think you're seeing it right now, KB. You mentioned it, man. Like, I didn't know like how much I needed that support in my life, you know?
I noticed it today. I didn't even know it, like realize it until you started like backing into me.
Yeah.
And then started kind of feeling that but a little bit of like a relief almost.
But how many of us are like, I'm sorry. How many of us are like, I'm too manly to admit that I got a problem.
Oh, 100%.
I do.
It took me forever.
I've been out of the Marine Corps for dang near 30 years. And it took me until 2 months ago to admit that I got a problem. I got hit head on by a drunk driver before I realized I had a problem.
Well, I think the biggest thing, right, is when you're in the military, you're basically, if you want to say trained, told, whatever, like to basically hide your emotions, hide your pain, hide everything, right?
There's no time to grieve.
There's no time. And the thing is,
continue the mission.
Yeah, it's to suck it up and move forward, right? And the thing is, most veterans, I mean, they struggle with illnesses, mental, physical, and ailments, and hearing, and all these different things.
And we're all too proud.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And the thing is, that I'm going to call everybody out on this. A true man is one that's going to admit that he needs help.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not saying other guys aren't men because they don't get help, but the thing is, you want to be a man, admit it. Admit that you need it, right? Because the thing is we deny so many things, and like the thing is I was in Iraq in 06, and I got injured, and I didn't go see a doctor until 2011, and I went for my knee, not my back. I had knee surgery, back still hurting, but I'm like, okay, the knees, whatever. So I finally went to the back doctor in like 2013. So you're talking 7 years, different. And I went, and he's like, dude, how the heck are you walking? And I said, well, what do you mean? Like, you tell me. He's like, dude, you fractured your spine. You have this, like from my T6 to T12 is all jacked up. And the thing was, though, is I don't want to go to the doctor.
Right.
Because for several reasons. One, it's frowned upon, right? Like to be like, oh, I can't do this, or you can't do a PT test or whatever. Right. And two, dude, I don't want to get kicked out.
That's a big one.
Right.
Yep. That's a big
one. And people were like, oh, kicked out. Yes. Yeah. Because it's basically, hey.
That's what got me out.
Yeah. They think that your condition, you can't continue the mission. I was fortunate enough to where they pushed me into recruiting.
Yeah.
And so when I got med boarded, right? So I had to go down to San Antonio and everything. And my commander had to write a letter and saying like, hey, it doesn't affect his job and all this stuff. Because like I said, I was in recruiting. We had a laptop and a cell phone. So when I had bad days, and I needed to stay in bed, I could stay in bed and try to do whatever I could do, but the thing is somebody said this to me a while ago, and this is for you guys too, like with the VA, right? Nobody wants to go and get their, but at the end of the day, if I didn't join the Air Force, would I have PTSD, fractured spine, 5 knee surgeries, a stroke,
Right.
all these different things? I could list symptoms for days. I wouldn't have that
Right.
if I wasn't in.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
But also,
Gavin, you're probably the same way too.
Yeah, and mine's a lot like KB's with that. His wreck, that's what put me out of the show last month was red lady ran a stop sign, and I think that's when we realized my anxiety, where I was at and how high strung I was. And but it's the same thing. People, well, why are you even how are you even working? Why are you even out here?
Yeah.
Well, I've got one mindset, and that's don't go.
That's
or
right.
don't stop.
Yeah.
That's right. And, and that's like me. If I hadn't gone to the Marine Corps, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Right.
I wouldn't be a manager in a factory. Because,
I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah,
Right.
because I learned so much. I came back. I went in as a child. I came back. I see my old buddies doing this. And I'm like, I'm beyond that now. I'm a different person.
100%.
It's time to work and support my family, and
It's a mindset.
maybe a different person. It's a
It
different
is,
mindset.
and you don't realize it. And I think that's why it's good for us to talk about those things, because it is something that's not talked about a lot, especially when you get out of. I always say as a lieutenant colonel, and if I can't talk about those things, it's not going to, those things affect even the higher ranking.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you come back from deployments.
You had to deal with us.
Yeah.
And
Us
and
lower ranking guys. I feel sorry for you, buddy.
Well, you go to deployments and you come back, right? And you have your in processing checklist, and you got to go talk to everybody, and then you go see, you go see mental health, right?
That wasn't a thing when I was in.
Yeah.
Mental health was a taboo
Yeah.
when I was in. You go to mental health,
So
you're
that's
done.
why you should join the Air Force. No, I'm just kidding. But so like it was part of our in process, like our our reintegration, right?
But nobody wanted to say it, because if you did that, you couldn't go do all that. You couldn't do the things if you
100%.
If you went to mental health, they were going to keep you from going and spending time with your family.
Oh,
and that was the last thing you wanted.
Yeah.
to
So
do.
they're like, hey, how are you doing? I'm great.
Yeah.
Well, how was your deployment? It was awesome. Anything bad happened? Oh yeah, I didn't get any steak on Wednesday night, steak night.
Air Force.
Hey,
steak.
I was on the Army base.
Oh,
He was getting hazard duty pay for being in the
we
Army.
used to drive to the Air Force base to eat.
Yeah. No, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like in Iraq, so I was on an Army base. We shared it, and man, we had like 4 or 5 different defects.
Yeah.
Chow hall, and so I mean, I'm not going to say there was bad food, I mean, there were some nights you really kind of question, and I'd eat hard-boiled eggs, but I mean, there was some decent food, but back to the, to the conversation though, is like you said, you come back and nobody, like you said, nobody wants to admit that anything because A, they don't want to get checked in somewhere.
Right.
And B,
I know for me too, I think like the thought of losing your guns or something.
Yeah, 100%.
That's 100%.
He's crazy.
He's crazy. You're going to lose
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is you like I said, you think about it, right? You come back, and I'm straight up with you. I came back. I deployed. My daughter was like 2 months old. I came back. She's 9 months. I come home.
Same way.
I was home for like, I don't know, I think it was like 10 months, and I left again.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could have stayed home that second time.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, my back is all jacked, all this stuff. I didn't see the doctors. But to me, it was like, okay, well, my team's going over there.
Yeah.
Like,
be where you
I'm going.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality. I mean, and it's different. You don't have, I don't want to say you don't have that in the civilian world, but you
That was
don't.
your brothers.
Well,
Yeah.
you put the mission was before, like, it's that selfless.
Well,
service.
here's the thing. So the Air Force core values, right? Integrity first,
Yeah.
service before self,
Selfless
and
service.
excellence in all we do.
Yeah.
So that tells you right there, hey, have integrity. Okay, you have to have it. But guess what? The service is going to come before yourself.
Yeah.
Marine Corps, Semper Fi, always faithful.
Yeah. It's a selfless service. And it don't matter what it's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It was selfless service. That piece of it, it's the person on your left, it's the person on your right.
100%.
That's
You
right.
put them before you. And I always said, as a leader, I led in a way that I would want my sons to be.
Yeah. I mean,
and so that means I'm going to do things
My thing was
put others before myself
100%.
because that's how I would want a leader to lead. And that's
my thing is lead, follower, get out of my way.
right.
It's that simple.
And when
You
when you do that, you put others before yourself. You put all those things, the medical stuff, the mental health stuff.
Everything.
You put
It goes on the back burner. It's like a box in your brain that just gets tucked away.
Yeah.
And then something happens and it's like, oh, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, dang, I forgot about that.
That's like me. I call it that little demon in my box. I've kept that demon in that box for a lot of years.
But the good thing is there's a lot of good programs out there especially to the VA that if you don't know that could do it. So like I do counseling.
And if you're,
I just started counseling.
Yeah, and if you're active duty, like there's Military One Source, which I found out about. They're like, hey, you can go talk to this, and it doesn't go against your file.
Yeah, but all those years ago, I got out of the Marine Corps. They basically gave me a DD-214, kicked me out the door, and said, "See you later. Thank you for your service."
Which was the right answer.
And
no,
I did not know anything about the VA till I joined Army Bass Anglers and started hanging out with other veterans and understanding stuff and seeing what was actually, I didn't see as a problem, but evidently it's not normal. You know what I mean?
Well, you say it's not normal, but it's normal.
It's normal for me.
Well, it's normal for all of us.
Yes.
It's not normal for anybody
Well,
else.
but I'm saying it's not normal, but it's a normal behavior.
That's what I'm saying.
We see it. I hate to say, I don't like to say it's not normal. What I want to be is like, it's a normal behavior for military. Because what I don't want to put the message out is that there's anything wrong with people out there. That,
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's a wrong, but you're not.
I know what you're saying.
But you're not, there's nothing wrong. You're not a weird person. It's normal for you to be because of the things you've been through. Like I will never forget when the counselor told me, "Hey, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah,
that's just the way you are because of where you've been and the things."
That's the same thing they told me. There's nothing wrong with you.
I'm the most functional, dysfunctional person.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And if I had not joined Army Bass Anglers and got with this group of great guys that now I'm all over the country, I would have never known about any of this. I just would have.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to a guy today, and we were talking. Just he was buying something at the booth, and I started talking to him. And he's like, "Oh, you're Air Force." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, we're active duty. I'm getting ready to retire." He had a beard, whatever. So he was, terminal and all that fun stuff. And I was like, "Well, man, do you do your VA stuff?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I kind of do this." I was like, "No, here's my number.
Yeah, call me.
Yeah,
call me."
I tell people that give me a call.
I have no problem.
And there's a lot of great resources out there for veterans.
Yeah,
to help.
They are. There's great resources, but my thing is like guys like you or Kevin or something. I can't tell you how many people in the organization don't go after some of their VA benefits until we talk to them, and I could tell stories because a lot of them just don't think they deserve those.
That goes back to what I'm saying.
That's my mentality on it.
I never served in combat,
but it doesn't matter.
So to me that was like, okay,
See, that's what people tell me. Well, you signed up, and I said, yeah, I signed up.
Yes.
They didn't bring me in. I did.
No, I did. Yeah, I went on my own accord.
So my answer to all that is every time someone said, "Oh, it must be nice," right? Because we get some nice benefits, but you know what? I always tell them this. Well, here's what I respond with. Was the recruiter office closed when you were 18?
That's right.
Yeah. And there's a lot of those. Oh, I almost signed up. I almost signed up.
I'd be rich if I had a penny for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Was the recruiter office closed? Because I'm pretty sure you had the same opportunities that we all had sitting here at this table because
that goes back to their excuses.
Yeah,
why they didn't, and then the stuff that we go through it with.
Yeah. I get it. People want to have that mindset of, oh yeah, I would have done it and all that because they want to feel a connection. They want to feel important. Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is at the end of the day, did you do it?
Yeah. I'll tell this story. There's a kid, he actually worked for Skeeter, a young kid who came up to me and he was almost embarrassed to tell me that he got hurt in basic training.
No, that's all right.
And that's what I told him. I said, dude, it took you more courage to tell what you just told me than somebody who spent time in combat.
Yes.
I said, don't ever be ashamed of everything.
Oh, 100%.
My daughter went in the Army.
And I said, hey, you did more than
Yeah, 90 was it 97,
Yeah.
98% of the
Yes.
country.
3%.
Yeah.
Just because you got hurt in basic training to a point where you couldn't continue on,
Yeah.
that's not a
failure.
It's
on
not
your
a
own.
failure
It's
on
not
your
a
own.
quitting. That.
I said the fact that you're honest about it, that you had enough. I said you came to a guy who had 22 years in combat. 22 years, and the stuff that I've been through, and had the courage to tell me that took more courage to have that conversation with me.
He tried.
He tried, and I said, you don't ever let anybody ever make you feel bad for that.
Yeah.
You went.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I get a lot of people too that always seem like, oh yeah, I would have done this, but they wouldn't let me in because I had this.
Yeah,
and I did recruiting for 13 years.
Yeah,
I was a waiver.
I know the ins and outs, and I'm just like,
my platoon in boot camp started out 66 people.
Yeah.
We graduated with 49.
Yeah.
Boot camp is designed
to weed out
to people that can't make it,
Right.
to weed them out.
Yeah. But those people tried.
But they tried. They gave 100% effort until they couldn't anymore.
Yeah.
Whether they got hurt, we had a guy have a heart attack.
Yeah.
So anything can happen in boot camp. It is tough.
It is tough, but anybody that's done that has earned a right to
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that you signed up and attempted to do it
Yes.
is, like I said, you're still doing something that 97, 98%
Never tried.
of the country never even attempted to do.
Yeah.
And
so I think there, as we, get ready to wrap this up, I think the big takeaway for a lot of this is that there's a lot of resources out there that
There is.
Yeah, you can use the VAV for your VA stuff. The VA's gotten better, and it's continuing, I think, to get better. And, with appointments. And the thing is that, like, me personally, I go every 2-3 months to the VA and I, talk with the counselor or whatever.
I do it once a month. I'm in there like
I'm once a week right now.
I mean, they'll make it to so there's not just a VA, but there's also
I see a civilian counselor.
There's a VA, there's a vet center too. That's another resource that does counseling.
I see a guy locally, and it's like I see him every week or every other week.
It's like me. My VA experience so far has been, I have nothing bad to say.
Yeah.
I went to VA. I signed up. It was bam, bam, bam. I was done. They had me an appointment. I started having issues. I sent a message via their via email to them. They called me the next day, set me an appointment up, and they've had me in there once a week.
And I don't think a lot of people know this. There's stuff for your spouses and
Stuff for your spouses. Yeah.
If you're like,
I mean, let's be honest. They're the real heroes.
Yeah.
I mean,
they got to deal with us.
Yeah. I mean, this July will be 25 years we've married my wife, and the stuff that she's had to go through.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With me and the surgeries and I can't put that in perspective.
I mean,
I can't put that into words.
We're not easy people to live with.
No, we're not.
Not at all.
I mean, there are days where we're just angry.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's
moody,
days where I can't get out of bed.
Yeah,
and she does everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I get out of bed to go to the bathroom, and that's it that whole day. So she's bringing food to me. Whatever I need, and she gets frustrated at times. I totally understand it because she's literally waiting on me hand and feet, right?
Yeah.
But that's
love.
Not to get it's love, man. I mean, it's one of the, in my opinion, it's one of the deepest forms of love that you can have, because that right there is unconditional.
Yeah, mine's dealt with me for 30 years.
Yeah, that's my
March 25th is my 30-year anniversary.
Yeah.
That's the real reason he's not getting fishing time. He's got a 30th anniversary.
Yeah, I got to go to Disney World.
No, and the thing, like I said, you truly thinking about it, all the stuff they do and put up with us, and I mean, this is going to sound really silly by saying it, but they didn't sign up for it.
No,
you know what I'm saying, like,
you need to wipe that tear out of your eye.
Yeah, no, hey man, I love my wife to death. She's my best friend. I mean, without her, I don't know where I'd be. I'd probably be under some bridge in a tent or something.
You can pay us money later for this.
Hey,
husband points you.
Look, I mean,
I had the pleasure of meeting them last year at Red Crest, and your wife and kids, pretty awesome.
It's a cool deal. But like I said, there's help for them. There's counseling for them to help deal with putting up with us.
Yeah. I mean, and then you go back to your kids too. Like,
stuff for the kids today.
Yeah, I mean,
See, like mine, I I've got to catch myself and not treat them like a little recruit sometimes. When you're used to like this. No, take your shoes off, left foot, right foot, heel, toe to toe straight.
Yeah.
Like, get.
And you know what's funny is we all riding trucks together, going to these shows, and somebody's wife will call like, "Hey, you're on speakerphone, and so and so and so and so and so and so are in the truck."
Oh yeah.
But it's
But there's but the kids too outside. There's also a lot of educational benefits. for
yeah,
the
yeah.
kids.
I mean, my daughter, she's a freshman this year in college, and she found out about well, obviously we support Folds of Honor, and so we found out like, hey, this is the opening, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Well, and she got the scholarship, and just a couple of days ago she reapplied for it for next year.
And it is open now.
Yeah, it's open
so
now.
if you don't know, like the Folds of Honor Scholarship, which is one of our biggest nonprofits that we support, Diane Nemechek would be upset if I didn't mention it since we are talking about it. Like,
she's awesome.
If you don't know, go to Folds of Honor's page. If you're, meet the criteria and apply it, like we said, because
and it's real simple.
Yeah,
like it'll. There's a few questions that you have to do, like a brief summary type thing. It'll ask you like, hey,
story about your
who
veteran,
served?
yeah.
Yes, like tell us a story about that person, and all that stuff. And it's a It's a pretty simple process.
right.
Yeah, but even for Folds of Honor, if you don't qualify, the state of Indiana, with disability, I found out my kids can go to state colleges for free.
That's what it is in Kentucky.
So a lot of states, if you're a disabled veteran, your kids can go to college.
And here's the thing:
reduced price or free.
Go to the VA.
Go to the VA.
Do your process.
You can't do that until you start with that.
Yeah. Because if you're 100%, your kids can get $1,500 a month to go to school.
Yeah. Chapter 30. And
Go to the VA.
if you don't know how to do it, like Mike mentioned, there's a lot of good veteran service organizations. DAV.
That's who I use.
I use DAV. I know some others where there's.
And there's lawyers too. Like if you don't want to deal with and the thing is with DAV and the lawyers and stuff, they do all the work for you.
They do all the work for you.
They'll go through your records and here's the thing, like there's stuff in my records that it gets back in that box and I don't even know. And he's like, "Oh, what about this?" And I'm like,
I got
forgot about that.
I got rated on something stupid that I'm like, I would have never thought that I should have got rated on. But there's a lot, and I'm not going to promote one or the other because it all depends. It all depends on where you live at,
where
which
you live,
one,
what's available.
And here's the thing:
so
it's free.
It's
for
free.
the service organization.
Yeah,
and the thing is, these guys are doing it. And they're genuinely doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They want to see you get what rightfully you deserve.
It's good. I think it's what's so important about sharing these stories on the podcast, and it's kind of peeling the onion back. I mean,
that's what the tears were from.
Yeah, there you go.
He
was cutting onions over.
But
SB was cutting onions over.
Don't worry though. We do. We have a military moment with Mike on the TV show. He forgot that part. Like,
yes, I did.
Yes, we have a military moment on there that delves more into Cooper. So that's gonna be part of the TV show. As we kind of wrap this up, it's gonna be a great TV show. We talked a little bit about the podcast, but really love the fact that we dived so much into what we talked about from this, and I think it really informed. I love these are the kind of conversations that I love, and we're going to do more of that this year for the audience.
It's real.
It's real stuff, and that's the things that I want to get and talk about, the real emotional stuff that we deal with, because I think that's so important. We love talking about hunting and fishing stuff, but I also want to talk about the things that we all face. KB opening up, talking about the things that he's going through. I mean, it takes a lot to really do that. Kevin talking about Mike really sharing his heart, and I think that's so important. Hey guys, if you want to know more or need help or just something, reach out to us. You can hit us on our website. We'll point you in the right direction. If you want to know more about Army bass, buck, or duck, or hog, go to forceonforcetv.com, guys. And hey, we appreciate you. And we'll see you on the next episode on Force on Force Talk. Cool?
Thanks for listening to the Force on Force podcast. Join us next time as we dive into more topics from the Force on Force Talk. For more information or to learn how to join the organization, visit our website at forceonforcetv.com.